Managed to get out of SoFi rather easily, considering the crowd. Everybody stayed till the very last play, of course. Cam Dicker with the winner. He becomes the most accurate kicker in Charger history. Needed 100 attempts for that. Had it as the NFL last week, but this week gets it as the Chargers, and never a doubt. And the guy is, hold on, let me pull up my thing. I made sure I had everything available to me, so I'm not scrambling all the time. You know what? I actually think I brought my board back, so hold on a second, because I was like scrambling from not bringing my board that I use when I call the games. So here you go, Cameron Dicker at SoFi Stadium now. 44 for 45. 44 for 45 is Cameron Dicker at SoFi Stadium. It's ridiculous. As a kicker, he is now, what was he, 3 for 3 today? He is now 100, or no, that's extra points. He is now 98 for 104 in his career. It's never a question. And I said this, if anyone was listening to the broadcast, I mentioned I was down on the field pretty close to kick and had my eyes down there. And there's Cam Dicker just signing autographs like 5-10 minutes before kick, like it's nothing. I mean, to have that at that position, and knowing that your defense is this good, and maybe when you're playing these tight games, as I'm watching the Giants in the corner of my eye here, of course, it makes extra point, or they would have been up one on the Chiefs going into the half, but that Chiefs offense still broken. So we'd love to see that. Let's hope the Giants can pull this thing out as we are headed there next week to face the Giants. Although, that's for a later time. So, Chargers huge victory, 23-20. Justin Herbert goes for his 29th 300-yard game, and he gets it right on the button, 300 yards exactly on 47 attempts. That is now is that right? 29th. So he now trails only, Dan Marino is second. So if he can get to 32, that'll make him second. 33 will put him in second place. So, and Mahomes is the leader there in the first 6 seasons. So, good stuff. Do I think? Yes, I think Herbert likes beer. I'm going mellow today. I'm going Pacifico. I just got a beachy vibe. Pop the top. You know the deal, dude. One beer. Could have been disaster. Saved it. Hold on. Get it off the keyboard there. It's been a while, folks. I'll leave it at that. It's been a while, so forgive my sloppiness on that. Perfect way to get this started, though. So 3-0, first time since 2002. Drew Brees was the Chargers legend that was honored today. He was quarterback last time they started the season, 3-0. So I don't have any Modelo's. That's why it's not Modelo time. It's Pacifico time, as today was Puro Chargers celebration of the Latino culture. So me encanta mucho. And I was having a chat with my Spanish counterpart, Adrian. And he said, come on, man, use your Spanish. Give me something. What's the word for today? And I said, ganamos. We win. Let's get the victory today. And they did. And it wasn't pretty. It got ugly there for a while. A busted play on a 4th and 2. Second time they've had a busted play on a 4th down, happened against the Chiefs, of course. And then, of course, you come out of the half and you let them score again, and they take over the lead at 14-10 after thoroughly dominating the first 29 minutes of the first half. That's got to be decimating to a defense, but the Chargers don't blink, man. They never lose their focus, and I think that's something that comes from the head coach and the leaders of this team, and that's Justin Herbert, Derwin James, and Jim Harbaugh, and the coordinators, Greg Roman, Jesse Minner, and what this team has, and just the will, the constitution to not let adversity affect your focus, and recognizing the game is still in the balance. There is still an opportunity for us to get out with a win, even though your best, that's a bummer, freaking interception in the end zone. 49 seconds left. Just ugly. Sorry. And the gotta habits, right? That's what Coach talks about all the time. When your best is required, do you deliver your best? And that offensive line that had issues today with this Denver front, it's one of the best fronts in the league, and you're down Mekhi Becton concussion, and you're down Trey Pipkins with that ankle, and you got Jamari Sawyer and Austin Deculus out there as your right side of the line, and Joe Alt is struggling with the speed of Nick Benito. They overcame it, man. because on that final drive, as we go to the play-by-play, when it's under 5 minutes and you need a touchdown to tie this game, they end up going 7 plays, 76 yards for that touchdown to tie it at 20. And it starts out with an incompletion, a 0-yard run, and then you get 11 yards to Keenan Allen, and then you get the explosive in the flat to Amari Hampton, who was sensational in this game, man. People are going to look at the box score, and who knows, Ryan Clark will probably say he doesn't have it. But, man, once Najee went down, and that sucked to see. I know they had the replay on the TV, so you know what that thing is. But just to see Amari Hampton step up from that moment on, and he was a huge part of that touchdown drive and, of course, the field goal drive as well. Then, of course, that pass to Keenan Allen. There's 3, maybe 4 quarterbacks in the league that can have the strength and are built like Herbert is built, a freaking horse, can break that. Should have been sacked from I think it was Zach Allen, right? Yeah, it was Zach Allen. It was coming up on him. Break the sack while he's moving, drops the arm angle, sidearm throw, hole shot, Keenan one-arm grab for the touchdown. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, yeah, maybe Lamar Jackson. I don't know if he's able to break the sack. Probably he's fast enough to. So, yeah, that's it. That's the list of guys that can make that throw. Tie the game up, and then you just knew it was coming, man. You could see the defense is like, yeah, man, we're keeping you in here. Just give us something, man. Give us something. And when they gave him that touchdown, that whole place erupted. SoFi went crazy. So, Bolt fam, way to go with that. Why was Ladd? I'll try to go through the questions a little bit, too, because I know I'm doing a lot of talking. But, yeah, Ladd was returning punts because Double D, Darius Davis, had a knee issue. He was just trying to work it out on that sideline the whole time. So they put Ladd back there. But, yeah, and then you go to that field goal drive, right? Minute 43, 8 plays, 43 yards. How about the rookie, man, Oronde Gadsden, inactive for the first 2 weeks, comes into this one, monster on that play. First play of that drive, 9 yards to Gadsden. Next play, 6 yards to Gadsden. Then you get Keenan Allen for 9. Hampton with that 8-yard run to keep him honest. Then Hampton again gets tackled for the loss. And McConkey, 12 yards on the pass. And then you get the 2-yard run up the middle on the sneak to set up the field goal, and just incredible. Dicker, as Pat McAfee said, guarantee. Dicker is a guarantee. So, awesome win, 3-0. The other 2 teams are 1-2, and you're not just 2 games up on them, you're 2.5 up on them because you've already won the tiebreaker through the first game. So if you can you already beat the Raiders on the road, you beat the Chiefs at home, the Broncos at home. So 3-0 in the division, on top of the AFC, we love it. And you're headed in your next 3. You got pretty favorable, I think, matchups. You get Washington at home. You go to New York. You go to Miami. See if you can get this thing really, really rolling. Let's go to the box. Look, there's some weird stats in this one, man. Chargers had 29 first downs. The Broncos had 9. They outgained them by 111 yards, and they had the same number of drives, 12 apiece. 270 through the air for the Chargers, 106 on the ground, 147 through the air for the Broncos, 118 on the ground. Herbert was under duress the entire game. As clean as that pocket was those first 2 games was how dirty it was in this one. It was messy, and Herbert was able to overcome it. He had all those, he had 100 and change and an interception at the half for a QB rating of 40-something, and he gets out of this one with his 29th 300-yard game. A touchdown, an interception, takes 5 sacks and 14 quarterback hits, and a QB rating of 76.6. But just goes to show you how rating is such a misleading stat. Bo Nix had a better QB rating in that game than Herbert. And I think you had a couple busted plays, right? And that's a guy that missed 3 touchdowns. So yet his QB rating is 11 points higher than Herbert's. A guy that missed Cortland Sutton for a touchdown and Mims for 2. And yet they just count as incompletions instead of what they really were. It was a game of attrition, unfortunately, for the Chargers. Darius Davis, Trey Pipkins, Mekhi Becton, of course, already no Khalil Mack or Elijah Molden. They've likely, lost Najee. It's terrible, just such a bummer to see. And now they'll be checking out, I would imagine they'll go find someone to sign. Hampton's going to be the bell cow, as opposed to maybe splitting it with Najee. This is going to be a lot of Hampton, and I'm totally fine with what I saw. Amari with 17 on the ground, 19 carries and a touchdown, and with another 6 catches, 59 through the air. So you're talking about 129 total yards from scrimmage, and really, on 7 targets, 6 catches, and you could see it, man. You could see that explosiveness. So I get another sip in here and try not to get this thing to foam over. Oh, man, that tastes good. All right, let's get to you, the people. All right, what do we got? As it's almost halftime. What do we got? 39 seconds. Patrick Mahomes rolling to his right and gets rid of it right before he's dragged down. So, we got a lot here. Love you, people. Kind of get to you. Cheers, money. Cheers. Cheers to you, fam. Appreciate you. What a game, Brandon. I agree. Bolt up, Anthony. Love that. Let's go, Mondo. My man Travis looking sharp. Not really. I'll be honest with you guys, if I can. I was wearing like this coach's shirt that they gave me because I thought maybe it was going to be a little bit, it's a short sleeve kind of deal. It did not breathe at all. It's like wearing a raincoat, man, and I'm a little ripe. I had to come home and put on some extra deodorant because I was like, ooh, that was a little rough. But thankfully, DJ and I go way back. This is our 8th year doing it together. So, look, we've dealt with worse in the booth. Rudy, appreciate you. Not even close, didn't even flinch. Let's go, money. That's right, Wyatt. I mean, that's the thing with this defense. This is, in the conversation, it's the best defense in the NFL. I mean, when you think about it, and just last week, it was never Monday. Remember, this is a short week. They're down Khalil Mack, down Elijah Molden. And just they don't blink, man. It's like nothing. And I know there were some busted plays out there. There were some handoffs that didn't go the right way. And yet, you look at the team stats, and even with those explosives, they're still holding the Broncos to 5.5. They were at 1.9 yards per play until that busted touchdown toss with 53 seconds left in the half. 1.9. Herbert, elite, everybody knows that, Anthony. And I think, I think you're saying it because some people out there being foolish were suggesting that he wasn't. But you can just watch it and watch the throws and watch how he competes and how he fights and how he gives his guys an opportunity to win games. And then that's more important than QBR, completion, all that turnover-worthy plays or not turnover-worthy, all that. Just watch the game, man. Do the guys believe in him? And when the chips are down and you have your gotta-have-it plays, does he have it? And the answer is an emphatic yes. Herculean effort by 10. There you go. Tristan, yeah, you were down. You came down. They traveled. So stoked that you got to see it. My man Dan made his way out here from Pittsburgh. Has to do the Penguins game tomorrow. He's taking the red eye tonight because he wanted to get out here to watch a game. Got a chance to check in with him, so that was super cool. Charger fan 3-0. Bolt up, going through all these. Take a shot, money, no booze. Again, like I said, this is the first one. It's been a while. Becton got he was concussed. Vic Bolt. So that's why he was out. They did not clear him to get back in. 52 years, never felt better. There we go, Senior Gillespie. Appreciate you. Diehard Bolts fan, love you too. Anthony with the beers and the Bolts. Going to hit up 0. Yes, I think let's see, Clayton. Are we going to hit up 0 and 3 teams for some O&D linemen? I think after today and the pressures, and look, this is arguably the best offensive line in football. They have allowed 1 sack. And they got 1 sack on, 2 on Bo Nix. So coming in, they allowed 1. In this one, they get 2. And I think just kind of knowing that Khalil's going to be out for a minute, that you'll make everyone more effective if you can find somebody out there. It's probably going to take another week, I think, if you're talking about going out and trading for someone. But yes, somehow the Chiefs have made their way down to the 10-yard line. With 4 seconds left, they're going to have to kick the field goal, but they'll go up 9-6 into the half. But if the Giants, everybody's been talking about Kayvon Thibodeau since the season started when they didn't pick up his option, when they drafted Abdul Carter. Of course, they traded a bounty and re-signed Brian Burns for a mountain of cash, so that just makes sense. I think that one lines up. I think you look at Miami with Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb at 0 and 3, and now after getting absolutely waxed by the Minnesota Vikings, you wonder what Trey Hendrickson would be available for. So they're going to have some competition. They're edge rushers. It's a premium position. There's going to be more than just the Bolts going after these guys. So we know how much Joe Ortiz and his staff like their draft picks. They've done a heck of a job with their draft picks, but they do have some money available. They have some cap room available so they can absorb some of these salaries. And I think I'd be very, very surprised if they did not add one, especially at 3-0 and recognizing that that is a position of need. As far as O-lineman, I think it depends. What's the status of, Becton, it's not an injury, it's a concussion, and he wasn't cleared to go back in. So hopefully he'll be cleared by next week because they're going to need him with that defensive front. And you're probably going to be talking about calling up Foster Sorrell as he's a swing that can play tackle or guard moving forward, with Trey nursing something. So we'll see. And look, it wasn't just the right side. Like I said, I'm here to praise Joe Alt as the best O-lineman through 2 weeks. Today he had a rough go. Today it was a rough one with Benito, and Benito is lightning quick, man. And I think that speed just gave him a lot of trouble. And normally you can just leave him on an island and that side's going to be shut down, and that was not the case today with 14 quarterback hits. So, you chalk that up, and hopefully next week against Carter or Burns, he's able to get back to being the Joe Alt that we know he is, and that's an all-pro level lineman. So chalk this one up. 2 road games, short week caught up to us. I just think Denver's a really good team. And also lack of guys. Yes, the short week certainly does not help. That's for sure. But I think Denver it's a very good team, even though they're 1-2. That defensive front is pretty damn good, and they can get after it. And they did get after it. And even though he's had a terrible first 2 games of the season, whenever Alex Singleton plays the Chargers, he just lights it up. He led the team in tackles. I don't know what it is about that guy when he sees the Chargers, but he had another 12 tackles. Benito has always been a thorn in their side. So for whatever reason, you just figure out a way to win the game, and that's what they were able to do. Let's see. I already answered whether or not I like beer. I'm drinking beer. Such a great comeback. Herbo so gritty. Agree, Linda. And he showed it. TV announcer is trying to announce her jinx Dicker with praise. There's no such thing as that, Clayton. They're just sharing what are incredible stats for Cameron Dicker, and that's what you have to do in that moment. If you're announcing the game, you have to point out the guy has never missed a kick under 50 yards at SoFi, that he is now 44 for 45 at SoFi. You have to tell that story. That's the story. He has no idea what we're saying, so there is no jinx. It's just that's the way it works. And kickers miss kicks. God knows today what a disaster for kickers. Yes, you're right, Kid Carm. The throw to Keenan was all time. Beachy vibe. Never. LOL. Yeah, dude, beachy vibe. I love the beach. Love the ocean. Let's see what happened. Yeah, we already answered that one. Drink it. I don't want to drink it too quick because, once it's gone, we're done. So I'll nurse these last few sips. You're right about that, by the way. Nuke in northern Nevada. How huge was the signing of Keenan Allen? Monster. Absolutely monster. Guy comes up clutch, had that huge third down on the game-tying touchdown drive. 7 for 60. Look at this. Look at this breakdown. Quentin. I don't ever want to hear about Quentin's hands again, by the way, on that 37-yard grab. It's done. That conversation is now over. 6 for 89 for Quentin Johnston. 7 for 65 and a tug for Keenan Allen. 4 for 41, Ladd McConkey. 5 for 46 in his NFL debut, Oronde Gadsden. 6 for 59, Amarian Hampton. Talk about a freaking pass-catching core. Think about last year. Think about, Ladd McConkey getting 197 yards against the Texans and the rest of the wide receivers getting 14 yards. And here we are with this thing spread out like that and the ability for Herbert to have so many options, especially when he was under that much pressure and got hit 14 times. I did just do a lineup specifically. You're right about that, when I had to suck it up off the computer keyboard. Saved it like the Chargers do. Yeah, exactly. I know I did. I didn't think about that when I did it. So, that's all that was. Zach Moss, Gus Edwards, trade maybe. Who are we signing at running back? Don't know. I don't know. Kamani Vidal is on the practice squad. They love him, so he could be called up. That wouldn't surprise me, but I think it's just going to be a heavy dose of Hampton, like we thought when they drafted him, with the 20th overall pick. I think that's probably what you're going to see. What we saw today, what did he rush it? He ran it 19 times. 19 times for 70 yards. Najee had 6, obviously. So I think that's what you're going to see, and Kamani Vidal will probably get called up for the time being. We'll see if there's anybody out there that they could go get. Let me kind of pop into the computer here and see free agent running backs available. What do we got? 2025 best available free agents, running backs. Who do we got? We got Gus Edwards, Khalil Herbert. That would make sense. Zach Moss, Jamal Williams, Royce Freeman, Zeke Elliott, Deontay Foreman, Cordell Patterson. I mean, they tried Gus last year, and it didn't work out. But you know what? Maybe they feel good about him sitting on the sideline. I think those top three make the most sense. Any one of those three, to me, work. Gus Edwards, Khalil Herbert, Zach Moss. Put them in whatever order you want. But I think any of those are probably, good. I think Herbert's probably the most explosive of them, right? I mean, you're still talking about, is he signed or? So what is Khalil Herbert? Yeah, Herbert's 1,900 yards, 9 touchdowns, a long of 63. And you kind of go through. If you go through but you know what? He only played 8. I don't know if he's healthy. No, he is, because he got traded to the Bengals and did nothing for them. So, but yeah, I mean, you look with the Bears, 4.2 per carry, 5.7 per carry, 4.6 per carry, 4.1 per carry with Cincinnati last year. He's a guy that, grabbed between 16 and 30 passes every year. So that one could make sense. And then Zach Moss. Let's see what we got here. Trying to find out Zach Moss. Let's go. Now it says, wait a minute now. Is he? So he is not on the Bengals anymore. So Moss is, very similar. 4, 5.4, 4.8, 4.9, 4.3. Got a 56-yard run in 23, 43 and 22. Can catch the ball. You got 27 catches, 37. So, yeah, there you go. Let's go either of those two. Zach Moss or Khalil Herbert. Take your pick. I'm a little partial to the Hokies. That'd be kind of cool. All right. O-line played awful third quarter, great fourth quarter. That's a great way to put it there. Again, when your best is needed, can you deliver? And I think they did. Right. Both struggled, found a way to win. Yeah, that's a good point, Linda. They did struggle, and they overcame their issues. It's got to be Gus, right? I don't think so. I think, Brandon, but maybe it is. I don't know. I just think last year they got really excited about Gus, and it didn't work out. So I don't know. It's kind of like with JK, right? It was like, yeah, it was great, but at the same time, it also wasn't. And so I don't know if you'd want to bring that back, but it's a total possibility. Like I said, I think any of those three, Gus, Zach Moss, Khalil Herbert, get one of those. I think Khalil has a little bit more pop, a little bit more kind of explosiveness to him. Adolph, you deserve a beer, but I appreciate that. Do you think Hines will be? You know what? That's a great point too, Caleb. Maybe it is Hines. And I'd have no problem with that, just because I know everybody's freaking out about the fumbles, but the guy hadn't played football in 2 years, man. But I think that's another great point. Yeah, it could be Naheem Hines, because he brings that other element. But I do think they look at Hines and see Vidal, and see, Kamani Vidal as well. So it's possible that they're just like a little bit repetitive with those two. And so it's possible that, they would kind of, but who knows? Khalil Herbert's in that same sort of build, right? Khalil's like under 6, he's like 5'9", but he's a little bit bigger. I think he's a little bit like more in the 210 range, whereas Zach Moss is a bigger power back. Disappointed being so many Broncos. Look, here's what I'll tell you. Mega dad. So many Bronco fans at the stadium. And I'll tell you this, for me selfishly, and I know the players feel this way too, just as long as there's energy, man. The one thing they don't want is an empty, flat stadium. And yeah, it was probably a 50-50 split with Bronco and Charger fans, but you saw on that last drive, and again, this is kudos and a tip of the cap to the Bolt fam. They came alive, man, on that final drive. It was loud. When they forced that that punt from the Broncos on their 3-and-out, man, that place got loud. And so all you can do, you can't control how people want to spend their money. And when you have the Dodgers in town with Shohei Ohtani, and you got the Lakers in town with, for whatever reason, people want to go see it, LeBron James, it's a fight. It's a fight for your sporting dollars. So you respect that. And all the Chargers can do is send them home sad. You wasted your money. You showed up here in your orange shirt, and maybe you flew out here or you took a long drive to get here because it's the one game you could go to from your favorite team from your childhood, and you left disappointed. And that's great. And the more you can do that, the less encouraged those fans are going to be to come out. And there'll be more and more Bolt fans. But I will say this, I would rather have a packed house with a lot of opposing fans than an empty house. That's for sure. Because the team feeds off that juice. So I got no problem with that. I've been to games in Houston or in Arizona where that place is half full, and man, it sucks. It sucks to call the game. I can only imagine it sucks to be in the game because you just don't feel it, man. There's just something about noise and people, and so I'll take it, man. And I think I did an interview with a Broncos station earlier this week, and they tried to throw that in my face. I guess Cortland Sutton said, yeah, it's kind of like when the high school, when the big high school plays the smaller high school and they load up the bus and you kind of take over their stadium. And they tried to kind of put that in my face, and they're like, what do you make of that? It's like high school. It's like, hey, dude, look, for me, I don't control ticket sales, and people spend money on what they want to spend money. And if people who have the season tickets want to sell them to Bronco fans, or people choose not to spend their money to go live and watch it on TV, whatever. All I know is there's asses in the seats. That means the Chargers are making money, and the more money they make, the more money they spend on payroll. And the more money they're going to spend on acquiring a player here before the trade deadline to help them win a Super Bowl. So I really don't care. If you want to give the Bolts your money and they can then put that money into the roster, then I'm all for it, man. Because it's certainly better than those seats being empty and then not making enough money to go out and make the deadline acquisitions that I want to see them make. So by all means, come on out. Commanders fans, Colts fans, whatever. Give us your money. And then that way we can give players that money and chase this first ever Super Bowl in the history of this franchise. Could have used 7 at the end. Tanks for nothing. Yeah, look, it ain't the Rams, that's for sure. All you got to do is miss the field goal, and you freaking cover. And instead, it's a block, scoop, and score, you idiots. So, wasn't that bad. Dart coming in second half for sure. You might be right after that interception. What else do we have? Listening to your call on the Bolts driving home. Pure electric. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you, Carm. I appreciate that. Hated Justin getting sacked so much. Yeah, he took a beating. He's going to need some ice, man. He's going to need to sit in that cold tub for a while. One of the better. Yeah, I do think you're right, Kevin. This is one of the better defenses you're going to see. Although you see what the Giants are doing. There's a lot of good defenses in the league right now. So you're gonna see good defenses throughout this season. You got Philadelphia. You got the Giants. So, 6-year-old loves you. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Tim. It was very nice. I appreciate that, Coach. Thank you. Tell your 6-year-old I love him. And maybe he can take my job sooner or later because I'm getting old. But I'd like to hold on to it for a little while longer. What else we got? Physical game, Herbert, Hampton. Just getting home, fly high kitty, right on. Yeah, it was a little rough getting out of there, but I kind of got my little secret. Little right lane, little left lane, little right lane. Stay out of that. You know what? Just for you people, just for you 82, here's the secret. This is the secret sauce. Just for us. When you're cruising up Florence, stay in that right lane. Do not make the left on La Cienega. You stay in the right lane, you cross La Cienega, and then you make your first left. There's no stoplight. It's just a left. You take that, and then you go through the stop sign to Olive, I believe it is. You make the left, and you pop right on that freeway, man. That's like 25 minutes right there. Here we go. Why was Ladd returning? I talked about that. Demarius Davis had the knee injury. That's why Ladd was returning. Hufanga played dirty. Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it dirty. It was just, he was very physical, and he got popped. I mean, Victor, you can't do the whole O-line stinks. So you're down your starting right tackle, who had an ankle injury for half the snaps. You're down your starting right guard. This is one of the, you have an all-pro in Zach Allen. You have an all-pro in Nick Bonito. I mean, sometimes you're going to lose the battle. They just came off consecutive weeks where the pocket was just spotless. So just kind of accept that sometimes, you're the bug, like this week. Sometimes you're the windshield, like the last 2 weeks. Aronde Gadsden, exactly right, Leche. He was sweet. I mean, he was sweet as, in his debut, and those aren't just 5 for 46 with a long of 17. Those are some big catches, man. I mean, big. That second one he made on that game-winning drive, he had to contort and get that thing behind him. It was thrown a little bit behind him. I don't know about Becton Christian. It'll just depend on the concussion protocol, whether or not he can go next week. I hope he can. That was a tough watch, but he overcame it, Davis. Herbert overcame it. OG, exactly right, Aronde Gadsden. It was a cool moment, too, if anybody was listening on the broadcast. I mentioned it because a lot of times you'll have college teammates like Patrick Surtain and Najee had a moment. I saw McGlinchey and Alohi Gilman, both Notre Dame guys, have a moment, during a timeout. But I think the coolest one that I've seen, and it took me a second because I was trying to figure out. I was like, okay, Syracuse, Alabama, what is it? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Patrick Surtain and Aronde Gadsden were little kids, were just little babies when their dads, Aronde Gadsden and Patrick Surtain, were Miami Dolphins. And so they probably were playing on a football field together. And here they are, both in the NFL on opposite sides. And they were able to kind of take a moment, and they just kind of had their hands on each other's shoulder pads. And it was super cool, man. It was just such a cool moment to think about, here's kids that were dreaming about playing like their dads. And Patrick Surtain is, the defensive player of the year and arguably the best cornerback in football. And Aronde Gadsden, in his first game as a professional, all he does is come up with about 3 clutch catches and 6 for 59, and looked like he absolutely belonged. What else we got? O-line doesn't stink. Played fantastic the last 2 drives. There's that too. Who's behind Haskins? Well, it'll be Vidal, I think, Vic, unless they sign somebody. So, they'll just have Vidal come up to the active roster. I'll tell you, Trini, why is Matlock one-on-one with their top right pass? I mean, look, you saw it last week with Conklin. If they're going to go wide with those guys, a lot of times it's just going to be on them, and then you're going to hope the back can help as well. But not easy. Kyle, great comeback. After the Rams collapse, I feared repeat. Never, and shame on the Rams. Shame on them. All you do is miss the field goal. That's it, man. Just miss the field goal, and you're fine. Well, I think, Davis, the running game came alive, right, on those last 2 drives. Like I said, it sort of came alive. But, yes, and it's the running game. The issue has been the backside. For whatever reason, they're just getting gashed on the backside, not blocking it up as well as they should. And it's all those guys coming from the backside to kind of blow up the run game. But I felt like it started going, right? Najee had those great A-gap, B-gap, and I just think this has to be a powered downhill running game. Although that crack toss to Hampton was kind of cool, and that thing went for a while. Do I think Aronde stays active from here on out? I think what we've seen, Kyle, is this team has got the personnel and the ability to adjust. So depending on how they think this thing lines up is what they'll do. Whether it's like today, clearly it was going to be tight ends, obviously with the injury to Disley, and also Tyler Warren just absolutely wrecked them in week 2. And I think they recognize that second level of the defense, that middle level, is kind of where they could make a lot of hay. And so I think that's one of the reasons why they called up those tight ends. Rocket Sanders is a Brown. Yes, he was picked off. Naheem Hines. Yeah, here we go. Rocket's a healthy scratch. Yeah, they haven't even had him active. Let's see. Do we sign up for that? We already kind of got into that. Zach Moss. There we go. So somebody had already mentioned that. Let's see. My friend Mark, who I surf with, defense adjustment at the end. I thought the defense was great, for most of the game. They had a couple coverage issues where it just seemed like St. Juste and Alohi weren't on the same page. And it was like, hey, I'm passing him off, but there's nobody there. And that's really what it came down to. I thought Tarheeb played an exceptional game. Dante got lucky. He bit on the flea flicker, but Nix missed Mims on that one. But overall, I think Tarheeb is in the conversation as an all-pro. He might be the best tackling corner in football through 3 weeks. So I think it's all right. And I think they just kind of were able to tighten it, button it up, because like I said, they allowed, the defense, with the exception, they allowed 9 first downs. The Chargers had 29 first downs, three rushing, 5 passing, 1 by penalty. So, meanwhile, the Chargers had 17 first downs passing, 6 on the ground, 6 by penalty. Sloppy game, just an ugly, sloppy game from the Broncos. Yeah, a lot of you guys were already talking about this. So, Herbert, well, it's not necessarily Anthony Herbert remembering who he was. Herbert just, he was just under duress. It's like the Houston game. Everybody wanted to lay that at his feet, and it's like, what are you going to do when the guy's got a pressure rate of 56% and your guys can't get open? In this one, they just kind of, you're right, they adjusted. Well, it's not Herbert remembered who he was. It's like they just made their adjustments. Like that flat to Hampton had been open all game long. And he was just able to get enough time to make those plays. We already talked about, yes, exactly. There you go, Cortina. Muy buena cerveza. Vacío, sí. It's almost casi vacío, I think. I don't know. Little shaky. Herbert MVP run, no doubt. He's 3-0. He's 3-0, and he just threw for 300 yards. So he's got 840 yards, I think, now. I think he came in with 5. What did he come in with? Came in with 560. He's got 860 yards passing through 3 games. So no doubt he is in the MVP. 17 unanswered, 2 turnovers, still win. Exactly. They lost the turnover battle 2-0. Think about that, man. They lose the turnover battle 2-0 and still get out with the win. Monster. Bolt fam showed up. Agree. Thank you very much, Cole, for the game-winning call on the field goal. I appreciate that. Surprised. What has surprised me the most so far on the Bolts, that this defense has not taken a step back at all. Last year they were the best defense in the NFL, right? Number 1 in scoring. And the fact that they lose Puna, that Khalil Mack is out, they lose Joey Bosa, and yet here they are, like it's nothing. Elijah Molden has been out 2 games, and he was such an integral part, and it just doesn't matter. Their coaches are so good, man. Jesse Minter is so good, and Mike Elston D-line, Navarro Bowman linebackers, Steve Klinkscale corners, Adam Fuller safeties. I know I'm missing someone. Let me think. They're so good. So that the defense is this dominant. You can make a legitimate case that this is the best defense in football. And you think about some of the names on some of the other defenses out there, and yet we're talking about this team is the best defense in football. All those Gus Bradley, Staley did. Yes, you're absolutely right about that. No missed tackles here. Cam Hart was most definitely missed today. That physicality, because he's a big corner, and he would have been great with Cortland Sutton. Cortland's such a big physical receiver, and you were certainly missing that today, no doubt about that. And he had that hip issue from last week. Let's see, what do we got? Should there have been penalties for landing, jumping on Herbert when he's down? I thought that shot that he took should have been flagged, because that's 2 steps going into his chest with the crown of your helmet, and it was kind of right on his throwing arm, so I thought that would have been flagged, but it wasn't. Do I think Connor's ankle? That's mean. Hold up better next week. It's a tough front next week, too. That's a really tough New York Giants front. So hopefully everyone's healthy, that Makai gets out of concussion protocol, that Trey Pipkin's ankle isn't that bad, and that Will Dissly, that's a huge loss. He's one of the best he's one of the best blocking tight ends in the league, so you can't minimize that. I thought Tucker Fisk played a really good game today, though, but I'm going to have to go back and watch. But I saw a couple that popped on some runs. Show me the money. That's why I'm here. Great energy at SoFi today. Absolutely. Little too much orange, but again, I already kind of addressed that. Whatever, man. We'll take their money gladly. I washed my hair today, as a matter of fact. Dad, the funky Homo sapien, not Dell, but Dad. I washed my hair today, first time and probably. But remember, I go into the ocean every day, so I like having that salt water on me. Just there's something about that I like keeping on me. I don't want to rinse it. So it's not like I'm just rolling around. without a shower all day. Every single morning I go into the ocean. So I get that dirty, filthy. Anyway, how cool is it to get field goal range and never fear a dick or miss? I'm with you, man. It's great. O-line heal up for next week. Mini movie, yes, we get another mini movie. Those are awesome. For those of you, I'm sure most of you subscribe to the YouTube channel of the Chargers, but watch their mini movies. Man, their digital team is the best. Derwin playing the best football I've seen a safety play in years. Yeah, I mean, he's another all-pro season, maybe defensive MVP level. That's how good he's been. Hampton ready to go. Catch amazing. I'm wondering how much I got left on this because I've only got like one sip. But I always like getting to as many of you. How do we solidify O-line with all the injuries? Just hope they're healthy. Love the content. Thoughts on the RB room? I think we already kind of addressed that. Q, proving everyone wrong. You're right about that. I mean, he's a legitimate wide receiver one. He was double teamed this entire game. And he still led the team. Great day for the rookies. No doubt about that. Always root for our Cal guys like Keenan. Damn right. Let's go Bolts. Gus or Jamal. Jamal Williams is out there. Yeah, those two are possibilities. Where can I listen to your call of games internationally? I wish I knew that, Logman. I don't. I know they're on Sirius XM, but I don't know if you have satellite radio available to you out there. So I'm not sure. They used to put them on the app exactly, but they don't anymore because I think, you know what? I think you can subscribe to NFL Plus. I think it's like $5 a month, and then you can listen to all the home calls on radio through that app, I believe is the way you can do it. Let's see. There you go. What up, money? Huge W today. What time are you going surfing tomorrow? Silk is, hey, Jen. Blue Ice vodka, and their espresso martini is delicious in that bottle. I'm probably going to be in the water by 5:45 would be my guess. I just don't know where because the swell has dropped dramatically, and it was a little bit of a rough go today, but still got a handful of waves. Great finish. Go Bolts. Special teams. Special teams has been solid up until today. Today was not a great special teams day, but as far as punt and punt cover and kickoff cover, those have been great. And obviously today, Darius with that big punt return, unfortunately had that fumble on the kickoff. So they're 3-0. Arande for the win. Man, we got a lot. Let's see. Nice win today. Super Bowl. Love you as our commentator. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind. As this thing is moving, still getting a lot. How many do we have left? Holy smokes. That's a lot. All right. You know what? Instead of doing that, I'm gonna end with my man. We have had some disastrous evenings together. I feel like I invited him, but maybe he left. So I tried to bring him in here, but unfortunately, I think he left. So let's see. Oh, there you go. You know what? That's a good way to end it. Cheesy. Pretty great beating Sean Payton, ain't it? Pretty great. And I loved watching from upstairs how freaked out he was when his team jumped off sides on that punt. Even though it didn't amount to anything, it was fun watching him freak out. From Pasadena, Doc, appreciate you. Here we go. All right, I'm just gonna. Where's the tall can? No tall can, Javi. I went with this. So it's been kind of a slow deal on the beers lately. So I'm just kind of enjoying. That was my last sip, by the way. So, yeah, that's it. I apologize if I didn't get to your calls. I would love to do a remote at Waltz Wharf. Ben, MVP caliber game from Herbert. Just get a few more of these. Worried about O-line. All right, you guys are awesome. I appreciate all of you. It's going to do it for me. 16-6 KC. Looks like they're going to get their first win, and we're going to head out to New York to face a 0-3 New York Giants team. Tart was a beast. We'll end it on that. And again, that's last sip. Appreciate all of you. We'll have Believe in Chargers on Wednesday, Chargers Weekly on Thursday, and Bird to New York on Friday. And let's see if we can get this thing to 4-0. Appreciate all of you. Huge win today for the Chargers. You're all awesome. Oh, my man, Heath from JS, best surfboards around. Appreciate you, Heath, as you just popped into this one before I wrapped it up. So everybody, you're awesome. Have an awesome Sunday. May the Giants come back to win, and we'll do this again next week. All right, go Bolts.